Hello everyone and welcome back to Easy Dentistry, a channel that makes dental education incredibly easy and interesting. Today we are uploading a very important chapter from oral pathology, that is odontogenic cyst. There have been many requests for this chapter. This is very important, so watch it carefully. To begin with, the basic concepts. What is a cyst? A cyst is an abnormal closed sac present in the body, and this sac may contain a liquid, a semi-solid or a gas. So, what is the definition of a cyst? A cyst is a pathological cavity which is lined by epithelium and surrounded by a connective tissue capsule, and the lumen or the inside cavity of the cyst is filled with either a gaseous substance or a semi-solid material or something liquid. So this is the easy to remember definition of cyst. Now, what are the various parts of a cyst? A cyst is made up of a lumen or the hollow cavity, and the lumen is lined by an epithelium which is called as the cystic lining, and surrounding the cystic lining is the cystic wall. So cystic lumen, cystic lining and cystic wall are the three parts of odontogenic cyst or any cyst. Now, the cysts of the jaws are of two types: the odontogenic cyst and the non-odontogenic cyst. Odontogenic cyst, as the name implies, they arise from the tooth-forming tissues, while the non-odontogenic cysts, they arise from the fissures, or they are developmental in origin. Now let us study here the odontogenic cysts. As the name implies, the odontogenic cysts are derived from the tooth-forming tissues or the dental epithelium. Now, the odontogenic cysts are classified in three ways. You have to remember this classification of odontogenic cysts. There are three ways of classification of odontogenic cysts. The first classification was given by WHO in the year 2017. The second classification is dependent upon the etiology of cyst, and the third classification is based upon the tissue of origin of the cyst. So let us study each of this classification in detail. First, the WHO classification in 2017. The WHO classification says that odontogenic cysts are of two types: the epithelial lined cyst and the non-epithelial lined cyst. Now, these epithelial lined cysts are again of two types: the developmental cyst and the inflammatory cysts. And the developmental cysts may be odontogenic in origin or the non-odontogenic in origin. And there is a separate class of the cysts of the maxillary antrum. So, epithelial lined cyst and non-epithelial lined cyst. The epithelial lined cyst may be developmental or inflammatory, and then again the developmental cysts may be odontogenic or non-odontogenic. Now, let us study which cysts are in each subgroup of WHO classification of odontogenic cysts. So, the WHO has first classified the odontogenic cysts into epithelial lined and non-epithelial lined cysts. Now, the epithelial lined cysts are of two types: odontogenic and non-odontogenic. The odontogenic cysts are again of two subtypes: the developmental and the inflammatory. So, the developmental odontogenic cysts include the odontogenic keratocyst, dentigerous cyst, lateral periodontal cyst, and the calcifying odontogenic cyst. So these four are in the developmental odontogenic cyst category. Now, the inflammatory cyst or the inflammatory odontogenic cysts include the radicular cyst, which may be apical or lateral, and the residual cyst. So the inflammatory cysts are the radicular cyst and the residual cyst. Now, which are the non-odontogenic cysts? The non-odontogenic cysts are the mid-palatal raphe cyst of the infants and the nasopalatine duct cyst. Now, the second category of WHO classification, that is non-epithelial lined cysts, include two cysts. These are the solitary bone cyst and the aneurysmal bone cyst. Now also there is a separate cyst of the maxillary antrum, which includes surgical ciliated cyst of the maxilla and the benign mucosal cyst of the maxillary antrum. I hope now the WHO classification is very much easy to remember for you people. Now the second system of classification is based upon the etiology. So depending upon the etiology, the cysts are of two types, developmental and inflammatory. The etiology of the developmental cyst is unknown, but they are not the result of inflammatory reaction. The developmental cysts include dentigerous cyst, eruption cyst, odontogenic keratocyst, gingival cyst of newborn, gingival cyst of adults, lateral periodontal cyst, calcifying odontogenic cyst, and the glandular odontogenic cyst. While the inflammatory cyst includes periapical cyst, residual cyst, and paradental cyst, these cysts arise as a result of inflammation. Now, the third system of classification of the odontogenic cysts is dependent upon the tissue of origin. So, there are three tissue of origin: the epithelial cell rest of molluscs, the reduced enamel epithelium, and the dental lamina. So the cysts arising from the rest of molluscs include periapical cyst and the residual cyst. The cysts derived from the reduced enamel epithelium include dentigerous cyst and eruption cyst. The cysts derived from the dental lamina include odontogenic keratocyst, glandular odontogenic cyst, gingival cyst of newborn, gingival cyst of adults, and the lateral periodontal cyst. Now also there is one group that is unclassified, which include paradental cyst and the calcifying odontogenic cyst. So this is the classification dependent upon the tissue of origin. So here we complete the lecture on the classification of cyst. Students, you have to be thorough with the classification of cyst, because the classification would always be asked in your exams, in viva, in theory exams. So watch this lecture carefully. In the upcoming lectures, we would be studying each of these cysts in detail. So the next cyst would be the dentigerous cyst. Subscribe to our channel if you do not want to miss any of our lectures. That's all for now. Happy studying.